Okay, so if you're watching this video, that means that you've been enjoying some of the earlier sentence completion videos. So if we look at strategy 5 and strategy 6, we're basically going to take all the earlier strategies, like looking at keywords, flow words, punctuation, plugging our own word in the blanks, and going through process elimination. And we're just going to kind of just expand on those a little bit, because the key thing here is that you want to make sure that the answer you select is a perfect fit, and we want to make sure that you're comfortable doing double blanks, because those can be a bit tricky. So this will kind of like bring a bit of closure to the sentence completion strategies, and hopefully make you better at doing these kind of problems when you do the real SAT, or if you do some SAT practice on your own. So let's look at strategy 5, which is called a perfect fit. The instructions for the sentence completions on the SAT states the following. Choose the word or set of words that, when inserted in the sentence, best fits the meaning of the sentence as a whole. The word best is actually deceiving, because really it's more a perfect fit. So correct answer should always be a perfect fit. It's not kind of or sort of. It has to work all the time. So you never want to twist a word. So don't twist a word's definition just to make it work. Let's look at these two here. Annie was a very blank individual. She donated large sums of money to charity on a regular basis. So you see the semicolon. So we need a semicolon for grammatical reasons, so we don't have a run-on. But there's going to be 100% agreement here. So she donated large sums of money on a regular basis. So she's probably a very generous individual. So A and E, hopefully you know those are out, because those have negative connotations, vile and malevolent. We know we want some with a positive connotation. And some students might pick C or D. Amiable means friendly, because the root am deals with friendly or love. For those who take Spanish, you should know that amor means love. And obviously some English and Spanish words are similar meaning, since they're both based off Latin. So you can be friendly, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're generous. Or you can be trustworthy, but it also doesn't necessarily mean you're generous. For example, I'm a friendly and trustworthy guy, but I don't really have money to donate, so we can't really say C or D. And some people might be afraid to pick B because they don't know what it means, but that's okay. As I have mentioned in one of the videos, 80% of the time, all the time, because if you know 4 of the 5 words and they don't really fit well, then it's got to be the remaining choice. And because this is medium, we might expect a tough word here. The answer is going to be munificent, which actually does mean generous. And also you see the root M-U-N-I, which kind of sounds like money, so hopefully that helps. Let's look at the other one here. Maggie is a procrastinator, naturally inclined to blank in the blank discussions. So probably she's naturally inclined to wait to the last minute, because she's a procrastinator. You see that as a key word, and a comma there is cause and effect. So the wait till the last minute, because that's what a procrastinator does, right? And the blank discussions, made to extend discussions. So you want to be careful, because some students might pick C because they think like those who procrastinate are probably troublemakers at school. But I'm a procrastinator, but I'm a nice guy, so I wouldn't be misbehaving. So you can't really make that connection there. But withdraw and sneer don't really work, and meddle wouldn't work. Temporize means to let things linger, which could work, and prolong, so the answer would be B. And those are perfect fits. But be careful not to pick C, even though some people might connect procrastinators with troublemakers and might think that C could work. So really, you want to be careful that you don't really interpret, but instead go for a perfect fit. And then finally, double blanks. The trick to solving double blanks is to solve one blank at a time. Occasionally, we have to solve double blanks 2 at a time. That was the case with the code-dependent double blanks. which we actually saw in strategy 3, if you had watched that video, where we looked at item 4 here in strategy 3, or question number 4, because Ruth's parents often blank the plan as soon as they're formed, she assumed all adults were as blank as their parents. So, of course, it's kind of hard to figure out what to put in the blank, and knowing that we can go about a couple ways, it might make sense to solve these little blanks 2 at a time. But occasionally, or not occasionally, but most of the time, you want to try to do these 1 blank at a time. So let's look at this one here. So we'll coming back to the psychiatrist problem. The psychiatrist was helpful to her patient. Her blanks was blank to his anxiety and alleviated his depression. So again, we were saying calmness and served as a cure. Now when you look at the choices, you can either focus on the first word in each choice or the second word in each choice. Totally up to you. If we focus on the first word in each choice, tranquility can work. Irascibility, if you don't know what that word means, we'll hold on to it. Serenity, like peaceful, that could work. Equanimity, if you don't know what that word means, we'll hold on to it. Excitability doesn't work. So we only got rid of 1 choice. Now at this point, if you don't know what any of the words in the second, or any of the second words mean each of the remaining choices, don't leave it blank. Still guess something. Don't skip this question. But let's look at the second word in each choice, see if we can continue eliminating. It's not going to be a catalyst, because catalyst is not really a cure. Catalyst means to get something going. Remedy could work. An antidote can work. But not a spur, like to spur something on. That wouldn't work. So we're down to B or D. Now we know we want something positive here. And looking at the prefixes, IR is a negative prefix. So I would eliminate B, and I'll go with D. And that would be the process that I'd use for this. Equanimity means being even-tempered. Irascibility means being irritable, which can make sense because irascibility has that IR negative prefix. Equanimity means equal, even, tempered, makes sense. Another thing you could have done too is you could have focused on the second word in the beginning, and hopefully you would have eliminated A, C, and E, and you've been down to B or D anyway. And then, of course, you're looking for something positive, so we go with D. The last one here. The study's warning that monkey population were declining in Guatemala and Mexico was blanked by new evidence that nearby populations along the Belize River were blank. So in this case, there's a study warning, population declining, and there's new evidence. So you could say the populations were improving. I'm sorry, let me take that back. The studies warning that monkey populations were declining was true, because new evidence showed that the population was decreasing. Or you could say is false, because there's new evidence that the population is increasing. So in this case, we're going to go positive, negative, or negative, positive. Corroborate and prosper both have positive connotations. Out. Confirm is positive. Extant. Now that sounds like extinct, but if you're not sure, hold on to it. Belie and dwindling. Belie, B is a positive prefix. This means to lie. It's negative, negative. That's out. Diminish and debilitate, both negative. Out. Tempered, like to temper your expectations, means to lower. That's positive. So I'm really liking E. Extant actually means the opposite of extinct. Actually means like to be thriving or prospering. So that's out. So it's got to be E. And so that's how we can go about these, is sometimes looking at 2 words if it's not quite clear what specific words you want to put in the blank. So that completes all the sentence completions. Hopefully you feel comfortable doing sentence completions after watching these videos. I strongly recommend that you purchase the College Board SAT Study Guide. It's a blue book, or has a blue cover. A lot of great practice problems in there, and those strategies can be applied for that. Or you can use any other SAT materials you may have. But hopefully keep these strategies in mind when you're doing your practice and, of course, when you're taking the real SAT. And I wish you the best of luck with your test prep and on the real exam on the test day. All right, take care. Bye.